Okay, so have you ever like imagined having a language tutor, but like one that's available all the time?
Oh, yeah.
And it like adapts to how you learn best and makes the whole process, less like studying and more like,
Playing a game.
yeah, exactly, like
Yeah.
a game. And that's what we're diving into today. AI in language learning.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. And our guide for this deep dive is Miss Sulis. She's an educator from Indonesia,
Okay.
and she wrote this really interesting article. It's like a guide for teachers on using AI to teach English.
So it's like from a teacher's perspective.
Yeah, yeah, from a
Yeah.
teacher's perspective.
Interesting.
So, it's amazing how many teachers around the world are like really starting to use this AI stuff.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like it's everywhere.
Yeah, it really is. And Ms. Sulis's perspective, I think, really shows how global this whole thing is, AI in education.
Yeah, it's definitely not just a Western thing anymore.
Right, right. So let's just jump right in. Ms. Sulis starts by talking about the potential benefits, and they're pretty amazing. Like, seriously cool.
Okay, I'm all ears.
So think personalized lessons, but like lessons that actually adapt to how fast you learn.
Okay, so like, how does that work?
So imagine the AI figures out that you're like a visual learner,
Yeah,
and then it starts throwing in like a ton of flashcards with pictures and stuff.
that's cool. So it like customizes it to you.
Exactly. And maybe you need more help with grammar. Boom. It just like changes the exercises so you can practice the stuff you're.
Not so good at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And weak spots, right.
Yeah.
It's not just about, copying what a human tutor would do. AI can look at all this data, like tons of it.
Data.
Yeah, to figure out exactly what you're struggling with and then like give you super targeted practice.
Makes sense. It's like even the best human tutor, they can't keep track of all that.
Right. It's like having Spotify, but for language learning. You know how Spotify makes those playlists based on what you like?
Yeah.
Imagine that, but for learning English.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. And then there's instant feedback.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, I think that's like a total game changer.
Totally.
Apps like Speechling and Elsa Speak are already doing this.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those.
They use AI to like listen to how you pronounce
Can I
things.
tell you if you're doing it right?
Yeah, and give you corrections like right away.
That's pretty cool. So you don't have to like wait for a teacher to correct you.
Exactly.
It's kind of like having a, what do you call it? A pronunciation coach.
Yeah, in your pocket.
Yeah. Always there to help you.
But it's not just about, getting rid of your accent or anything.
Right.
These apps can also help you with grammar and vocabulary. Like they can actually help you get better at the language in a way that just wasn't possible before.
Yeah. Seems like it'd be really helpful.
Yeah. And Miss Sulis, she talks about how this kind of personalized feedback can be super motivating.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Especially if you get shy about like speaking out loud.
Exactly. It's like you can experiment and make mistakes without feeling self-conscious.
It's like a safe space.
Exactly. A safe space to learn. And let's not forget about, like, the fun stuff.
Oh, yeah, the fun stuff.
I mean, who doesn't love a good game?
Right.
And, like, AI-powered language learning apps are already adding in all these game elements.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it's like Duolingo, but, like, with AI on steroids or something.
Oh.
You could even have these AI chatbots that can actually have conversations with you.
Seriously. That would be awesome.
Yeah. And it gives you a chance to practice your speaking and listening without all the pressure.
It's amazing what they can do with AI now, like having a conversation with a computer.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And here's another big one that Miss Sulis talks about. Accessibility.
Accessibility.
Yeah, like with these AI apps, you can learn anytime, anywhere.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Like, as long as you have your phone or whatever.
Exactly. It's like having a world-class language tutor in your pocket.
Like 24/7.
Yeah, 24/7, no matter where you are or what your schedule's like.
That's huge for people who, like, live in remote areas or can't get to a classroom.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like AI could actually make language learning available to anyone.
As long as they have internet.
Right, right. As long as they have internet. But, it's not all, like, perfect, right?
Right.
There are some downsides that we have to think about, and Miss Sulis, she goes into those too.
Like what?
Well, one thing she points out, and this kind of worries me too, is this idea of, like, over-relying on AI.
Oh, yeah, like becoming too dependent on it.
Yeah. Like, what if we get so used to AI giving us all the answers and translations that we forget how to, like, think for ourselves?
That's a good point.
Right. It's a little scary.
It is. It's like we need to find a balance.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, I love using Grammarly to catch my typos,
Oh yeah, Grammarly's great.
but sometimes I wonder, am I, like, becoming too reliant on it?
Oh, I see what you mean.
Am I, like, losing my own grammar skills?
Hmm, that's an interesting question.
And Miss Sulis, she says we should think of AI as, like, a partner in learning, not a replacement for our brains.
Okay, I like that. A partner.
Yeah. So it's about using AI to, like, make us better, not to do everything for us.
Makes sense. Like AI can point out a grammar mistake, but we still need to understand why it's wrong.
Exactly. It's not a shortcut. It's a tool to help us learn better. And then there's the whole issue of the digital divide.
Oh, right. Not everyone has access to all this tech.
Exactly. And if we want AI to actually make education better for everyone, we have to make sure everyone can use it.
Absolutely. It can't just be for the privileged few.
Right. And then, of course, there's data privacy. Like, these AI tools are collecting a lot of info about us,
Yeah, that's true.
and we need to know how that data is being used and if it's being protected.
For sure.
And Ms. Suslis is a big advocate for, like, transparency and responsible data management.
So we know what's happening with our data.
Exactly. We need to know what's being collected, how it's being used, and if they're doing enough to protect our privacy.
It's a valid concern.
Yeah. But even with all these challenges, it's pretty clear that AI has the power to, like, completely change language learning.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing what it can do.
It's all about finding that balance, right?
Yeah.
Embracing what AI can do, but also being aware of the problems. And I think Miss Celeste gives us a really good way to think about all this.
Yeah, she seems to have a good grasp on it.
Yeah, and she doesn't just stop at the big ideas. Like, she actually dives into some real examples of how AI is already being used in classrooms. And that's where it gets really interesting.
Okay, let's hear it. So one area where AI is already making a big difference, like a really big difference, is in assessment.
Oh, okay. Assessment.
You know how like grading can be a total drag,
Yeah.
especially for things like essays?
Oh, tell me about it. It takes forever.
Yeah, it's so time consuming.
Yeah.
But imagine if you had an AI that could like grade those essays for you.
Wait, hold on. An AI that can grade essays? I don't know about that.
Yeah, it sounds kind of crazy, right?
Like, can AI really get all the nuances of, how humans write and think?
That's a good question, and Miss Sulis actually talks about that. She says that AI is getting really good at like the objective stuff.
Yeah.
You know, grammar, vocabulary, sentence structure.
Okay, so like the technical stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the more subjective stuff, like is it creative? Is there critical thinking? Is it original? That's where we still need humans.
Phew, that's a relief. So we're not like replacing teachers with robots just yet.
Not yet. But it's more about using AI to like help teachers with certain tasks.
Oh, okay. So they can focus on the stuff that actually needs like human judgment.
Exactly. Nasulis uses this great analogy.
Okay, let's hear it.
She says that AI is like super efficient at grading multiple choice tests.
Okay, makes sense.
But when it comes to essays, it's like having AI try to judge a figure skating competition. Yeah, like it can assess the technical stuff, like did they land the jumps, did they do the spins right? But to really capture the artistry and the emotion, you need a human judge.
Oh, I get it. So it's like AI can check the boxes, but it can't really judge the heart of the thing.
Exactly. And that's where teachers come in.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So it's all about using AI strategically, right? Not to like replace humans altogether.
Right. It's about enhancing the learning experience, not eliminating the human element.
I like that. So beyond the specific tools and techniques, Ms. Sulis also talks about like the skills we need to thrive in this AI-driven world.
Oh, yeah, the 21st century skills everyone's always talking about.
Exactly, like critical thinking, digital literacy, creativity, communication, ethical awareness.
Those are some big ones.
Yeah, and she emphasizes that these aren't just skills for, tech people.
Right, like coders and programmers.
These are essential skills for everyone, no matter what you want to do in life.
It's about being a well-rounded human in the digital age.
Exactly. And if we zoom out a bit, Ms. Sulis's perspective really highlights how AI is changing, like, everything.
Yeah, it's not just about education. It's about society as a whole.
And to navigate this new world, we need to be equipped with the right skills, like to think critically, to adapt to change, to collaborate with, both humans and machines.
It's a whole new way of thinking about work, life, everything.
Okay, so let's unpack some of these skills a bit. Critical thinking, that's a big one, right?
It's huge. I mean, we're constantly bombarded with information from everywhere. And now with AI generating content, it's even harder to figure out what's real and what's not.
Totally. It's like, is this a real news article or something an AI just made up?
Exactly. So critical thinking is about moving beyond just passively consuming information.
Oh, okay. So it's about being more active.
Exactly. It's about questioning assumptions,